We're gonna do this without glasses. Okay. Don't mind the noise, but hey, what is up? If you're new here, my name is Shannon. If you're not new, welcome back. I have been wanting to make this video for a long time. I don't know, I just kind of never really did it because I wasn't really sure how to tell my story or how to start talking about it, or if you guys would care. In all honesty, I sort of was, I guess, afraid that if I made this video and I wasn't like a size 2, or if I hadn't lost like 60, 70 pounds yet, you guys would like not care. But I've decided to live this year differently and to not be so afraid of everything. This is it, we're gonna start. I wanted to talk about my story with my health and fitness. So not necessarily like my weight loss journey, but like becoming the healthiest version of myself, if that makes sense. So back in 2015, actually, my grandma, who I lived with at the time, she had a brain aneurysm, and I was finishing up college, and it put so much stress on our family, and it was rough. It was a rough year. I finished school at like in May of 2016. So I started gaining a lot of weight after like 2015 into 2016, and then I think it was just because I wasn't taking care of myself. I was more so, one, we were all stressed out because of her, and then, you know, I was taking care of her. I was freaking out because it was sorry if I'm playing with my hair a lot. My hair keeps moving and getting into my eyes. So I was more so like, I don't know, I was freaked out because it was like my final year of college and I still had no plan for my life, and I had always thought growing up that I would like live in New York City and be this like huge fashion designer. It's not even what I want anymore. I don't know, there was just a lot of stress. And so I started gaining a lot of weight. I made a video, I think, at the end of 2016, and it was a hard video to make. And I think I'll put like a little clip right here. So I made this video at the end of 2016, and I talked about how I just was so like tired of being overweight, and then I needed to change something, and I had started like Weight Watchers, and I finally started getting like my eating under control and everything, and then I went vegan. And then a little while later, I actually ended up finding out that I was pregnant, and like into 2017 or whatever, like I went vegan, I lost a bunch of weight, I wasn't working out. It was just like, if I did workouts, it was strictly cardio, because I was all about like being skinny. Like I just wanted to be skinny for once in my life. And then I got pregnant at the end of 2017. Like things got put on hold, obviously. Like I couldn't like be trying to lose weight while I'm over here like making a human. I ended up gaining all of the weight back that I had lost. I wasn't vegan anymore. I was eating everything in sight, basically Wendy's chicken sandwiches and ice cream from Dairy Queen. I went so much that they started giving me 10% discount every time I drove through because they knew it was me. And it was really bad. Like at first I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, but then I was like, no, that's terrible. I shouldn't be getting discounted because I'm coming here so much. I ended up having my daughter in like the summer of 2018, and my life was just, from the outside, like things looked okay. Like I had, you know, my daughter, my son, and our dog. I was taking care of my grandma full time at this point. I like ended up not getting any job after college, and I had to stay home and like help take care of her because I was really the only one in the family that didn't really work full time and that didn't necessarily need to. So I stayed home with her, and I think the more that I stayed home, not necessarily because of her, but I was just so stressed and overwhelmed with everything that was going on that I just started to get really, really depressed and really unhappy. And you know, a lot of people say like, oh, you know, like you should love your body at any size. And like yes and no. Like I do believe like you should love yourself. Like you only have like one you know, and you're stuck with yourself forever. So like you should love yourself, but at the same time, like I was so upset because I had gained so much weight that I had worked so hard to lose, but it just didn't stick, you know. And then I was at a point where like things were affecting my marriage and my health, my relationship with my kids. Like everything is being affected. I had noticed that like the more weight I gained and the more unhappy that I became, I just became mean. And I wasn't really mean like on the outside to like other people, but I would take it out like on my husband and on my kids. I was so angry all the time, and it wasn't their fault. It was just because I was so unhappy with the way I looked, with the way I felt. Like, I literally never took pictures. Like, I can barely find pictures from when my daughter was like first born. Like, I didn't want to take pictures with her or with my son or like anybody. I did not want to be on camera. I took millions of pictures of the kids and my husband and my family and everybody else, but I hated taking pictures of myself. I remember this one picture that we did. It was, I'll have to find it, I'll see if I can post it. But this picture that we took, it was me, my mom, my daughter, and my grandma. And so it was like 4 generations of women in one picture. And I remember looking at that picture thinking how terrible I looked and how like this, it was just awful. Like, I wasn't happy with what the picture looked like, but I also was not happy at that time. And then I started getting to a point where I was like, I just kind of gave up. Like, I stopped doing my makeup. I stopped wanting to like get pretty or cute or like wanting to do anything for myself, really. It was becoming a spiral of like unhappiness, and I didn't know what to do. Like, I just felt like I was stuck in this little box and I couldn't get out, and like nobody could help me get out. You guys know I'm obsessed with Disney. I love Disney. And so I would always watch like what's in my Disney bag or like Disney vlogs and stuff like that. And so I ended up stumbling across this one chick, and I just remember watching her and following her on YouTube for a while, and then I went over and started following her on Instagram, and like seeing her day to day, like she was so happy. Like, it wasn't even like, you know, sometimes you watch these girls on Instagram or Pinterest or whatever, and you're like, oh my god, I want all their things. Like, I want a house like that or a car like this, and I want to do this, this, and this. But like, from her, that's not what stood out to me. From her, all I saw was, wow, she's so happy all the time. Like, she's always smiling. And obviously, like, okay, disclaimer, you know, I know that like social media is not necessarily real, and you don't always see the good part and the bad parts. Most of the time you just see the good stuff, you know, and you don't ever really see like the tears or the anger or whatever. Like, you see the good stuff. And so I got that, but like all the time she just seemed genuinely happy. Like, she just radiated it, and like I could feel it. And I was like, I want this feeling. I want to be happy like this. And even if it wasn't like fully real, I wanted it to be real for me. Like, that was my thinking. I actually reached out to her and I was like, hey, like, what is it that you do that makes you so happy? Like, why are you so happy all the time? And not like in a negative way, like, how dare you be happy? But I was just like, you know, I need some of this. What is your secret sauce? And she told me about this whole world of like, you know, coaching and helping other women, and it like fueled her to be better, like be a better version of herself every single day, because she was showing up to help inspire other women. And I was just like, okay, I want to do this. I feel like I'm gonna suck at it. I have no clue who's gonna care or who's gonna watch me, like if I'm even gonna impact a single person's life, but I want to do this. Like, I want to do whatever it is you're doing. So I started coaching, and I started, you know, at the only place I knew where to start, you know, focus on you, focus on your health, which is mental health, personal development, physical health, you know, nutrition, all of that. You need to focus on your health. When you focus on making yourself better on the inside, you can help other women be better. And I think there's that saying, I'm probably gonna botch it, but or butcher it, I can't even say that right. Like, how are you gonna pour into somebody else's cup if your cup is empty? Something along those lines. I realized that like I had literally nothing to give, because I was just so depressed all the time that I didn't have anything in my cup to give anybody else. So for the first time in my entire life, I started doing personal development, and I always thought that those books were for crazy people and like cat ladies. The only books I'd ever read in my life were like Goosebumps when I was, I don't know, like in 4th grade. That was it. I could never get into any books. I couldn't get into novels. I tried every genre. I could never get into reading until I got into personal development and like self growth and like mindset and all of these different things that I just didn't understand were starting to come to light. And so I started like reading all these books, and I was diving into like making sure the first thing I do in the morning, I would work on myself. I would read my Bible, I would read personal development, you know, start the day off with like good food, and I would do a workout every day or every other day if I could. And then I would focus on what I learned and like how to give that back to other people. Within like the first 3 weeks, I only lost like 8 pounds, but I lost like 20 inches all over, and I was shocked because I wasn't cutting things out. I wasn't like depriving myself. I was not forcing myself to like do workouts that I hated or anything like that. I was genuinely falling in love with all this stuff. As the weeks went on, like my mental health started like clearing up. Like I started to be genuinely happy, and like not so much that it was like I was conceited and I was looking at myself like, ooh, you so hot. I genuinely was like, wow, I feel good. Like I just felt good. I started taking pictures more. I would start taking pictures of my kids. I was starting to become happier. There's a little hummingbird. Oh wait, no, he went away. Anyway, and so I was like, you know, this is pretty crazy. Like I need to share this with people. I started helping a few like friends and like people that I knew personally, and then it started to go in a different direction, and then I started helping girls I've never met in my life from like Instagram and stuff, and they were starting to see that I was like happy, and it was just genuinely like a ripple effect of emotions. And it's like when you're always around somebody who's negative and unhappy and mean and rude and snarky, like that's, you start to do those things and you start to feel that way. And so I started transitioning from that person into somebody who was happy and kind and was just having fun and just sharing real things in real life and like my story. And like people just started following me, and people just started like asking me how I could help them. And I didn't ever think that I would be, I don't know what the word is, like qualified to help teach other women this, because I had a lot of people saying to me like, wow, you know, you've always been so confident. And I was like, no, I have not. I faked it. You know, that whole fake it till you make it thing. Like it works for other people on the outside, but it doesn't work for you on the inside. Like I could only fake confidence so much, but then I would be at home crying because I hated everything, you know? So slowly that started to change, and I've gotten to that point where I think I finally found myself, and here we are like 2 years later. So that was, I joined her at the end of 2018, but I really didn't get into actually trying to help people until after my grandma passed away in 2019. So my grandma passed away in June of 2019, and sort of like the end of July, beginning of August of 2019, I was like, okay, I need to make a decision here. Like, am I gonna do this full time? Am I gonna really dive in and try to help people change their lives, or am I gonna do something else? Like, what am I gonna do? Because I felt like I had no purpose anymore because I wasn't taking care of her. The end of 2019 came, and I was like, you know what? We're gonna make some massive changes. And I swear to you, if I had not worked on my mindset and my personal growth, I never in a million years would have actually gone through with moving across the country. And I did. And we moved and we went to Florida, and it was during a pandemic. We get there and then everything shut down, but it was still the best experience, and I got so much closer to God, to my family. I've started learning who I am as a person, and so much happened last year. Me and my husband actually split up about 10 months ago, and it wrecked my world. That's not what we're talking about today, but it was a lot. It was really, really tough on me, and I don't think, if I wouldn't have had my girls, like if I wouldn't have my group of girls and my mentor and these amazing people that I work with and these girls that I help, if I would not have had that, I would have crumbled. It started because I started working on myself. It started because I started doing personal development. Now granted, I incorporate God into everything in my life, and I start my morning off with my Bible, period, every day, and that sets up my whole mood for the day. But I consider my Bible as personal development because I'm growing, like that's my spiritual development, you know. And I have read a lot of, you know, Christian books, a lot of non-Christian books, but are still personal development, and it's just changed so much. And I have grown into somebody who is becoming very unafraid to like show you guys who I actually am. I created a new website, and I wanted to have like this space, you know, a few different coaches that I work with, they just have like the Fit Club or the Fit Gym. And the reason I named it the Fit CLIQUE is because I felt like I never really had a clique that I belonged to, like in high school, and I wanted to make something where everybody was welcomed. Everybody was going to belong here. Like, you weren't going to get made fun of, you're not going to get, you know, hackled if you like don't show up to work out every day, but I'm going to be there for each and every one of you. Like, obviously there's going to be some tough love, like I'm not going to lie. I thrive on that. Like, I have to be told the truth, and I have to have some tough love, so it's not for everybody. It's something that definitely changed everything for me. I started to live by this Bible verse, Proverbs 31:25, and it's, she is clothed with strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. And that's a Bible verse that I've loved for the longest time, but I didn't really fully dive into it until everything exploded in my life. And now it's literally become my motto, and so that's why my website is now going to be called laughwithoutfear.com, and then my YouTube and my Instagram and all my names everywhere got changed to Fearlessly Shannon, because I'm trying to help inspire women, probably some dudes too, probably not as much, but I'm trying to inspire women to learn to live just bold and fearless and, you know, be them while still like showing so much kindness and positivity and just being a light to people, because it is so dark right now and everything is just a mess. And the person that I was in 2016 when I made that video and I was crying and I was broken down, I'm not that girl anymore, but that girl got me to here where I'm this girl now. That's how everything changed for me. I started implementing these things every single day. And you know, maybe they're a joke to some people, but that's okay, because to me, it really did change my life. It saved me from, you know, self-harm and from depression and from anxiety and all of this stuff. It made me focus on a new area. If this is something that resonates with you, you know, if you feel like, wow, maybe I need some of this, or I need to be a little more happy, or I need to learn how to grow, then maybe the CLIQUE is for you. If you want to join me and do what I do and coach with me and help inspire other women like I did, trust me, when I started, I had no clue if this was gonna work, how I was gonna do it, if I was gonna like it. I didn't know, I had no idea. But if that sounds like you, then fill out the form down below and we will chat. We will talk one-on-one and see if we can get you in here and see if it's something that is for you. And maybe if you don't want to coach, if you want to start and just be a client first and test it all out and see what you think before you actually try to help other women, then we can totally talk about that too. Thank you so much for listening to my story. I really, really appreciate all of you guys. And if you want, you can follow me here, wherever you're seeing this. If you're watching this on YouTube or if you're watching this on my website, wherever you're at, you can subscribe to my newsletter, my email. You can follow and subscribe to my YouTube channel, or you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm all over the place, kind of on Pinterest too. So wherever you're coming from, hello, let's be friends. Thank you for watching. Love you guys.